I'm still constantly pleasantly surprised when I see how quickly and profoundly men transform from bringing them back to their lower kingdom, starting at our base. If we're looking to evolve and we're not solid in who we are in the lower kingdom, the energy we get up here is going to fall back down to there. And this happens on the spiritual path where men come across, maybe there's some shame or some things they don't want to look at, and we try ascend and we try ascend. I did it. I did it when I was covered in shame, and there was growth in certain areas and understanding, but I always came back to myself, and I knew I wasn't free in that arena, hoping that transcendent practice or spiritual practice would move me through it. But it wasn't until I descended and dropped back in to my lower kingdom, my sexual energy and my genitals, and reframed that relationship, that I could use my sexual nature for the benefit of my energy. And if that is done well, with right intention, open energy channels, that this energy can move into my spiritual growth, that it can move me onto my mission. And watching this happen with men I work with in a very short amount of time continually just proves that. And in the Western man, as I've said, shame seems to be the masculine wound, and a lot of that can come through our genitals, our sexuality. We've been the porn generation. We've been over-ejaculated. And the cool thing is, rewriting those habits and behavior patterns, yes, there will be resistance. Yes, there will be times of anxiety or even getting angry, but they can be rewritten and they can be reframed. And the path I walk is a more integrated path, that I had my stage of sexual exploration, then I had the shame and the celibate yogi, and then I found a way of utilizing that and letting that spill over into what is important to me. Because the subtle yet profound shifts that happen for a man when he lets that energy rise, decisiveness, courage, even the sound of his voice may change, health things like testosterone or his skin. It's a remarkable inner alchemy process that for dudes who've been ejaculating 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times a week can experience themselves full, can let that energy rise and feel who they are when they're actually operating closer to maximum life force. That often when we're making the bad decisions, it's through not having the strength of will, that we're tired, that we're bored, that it's stuff it, and we make those mistakes. But as you feel yourself rise and feel how good you feel, you understand the repercussions for that more, and your will and your ability to say yes or no to the right or wrong things increases. It's a magical process that the semen retention alone does a lot of things, yet often men carry either some failed experiences, some shame, or some fear around their genitals themselves, around the sexual experience. And this is where semen retention alone doesn't always face that. There might be people going on the celibate path and running away from their sexuality in women because of these little subtle fears. It can happen on the spiritual path as well, where I was covered in shame, so I went that celibate yogi path trying to ascend. You get in there for a little bit, but I'm falling back down to who I am. As men, we need to be strong, solid base. We have a bottom-up energy approach, that our energy rises from our base, and this is the way to get into the middle kingdom, a man's heart. From this heart space, this is when you have the opportunity, if your channels are open, or you could say your chakras, where you have the ability to operate at your higher, to access knowledge and wisdom that you mightn't even think you had. And in the West, we've been the porn generation, yeah? We've been given no guidance in this space. And not that I call anything a necessity or essential, but for men who haven't spent any time conscious time, be that a month or a few, just looking at the way they interact with themselves, with others, and their sexual energy, it's extremely transformative. This was where I managed to start walking the more integrated path. It's like, hang on, it's good to be a vital, horny, strong young man. It doesn't mean I have to run from this, yet there's more responsibility as that power builds to use this wisely. And I'm happy to take that on. When I stepped into this, it was only like a month after that, yeah, I met the best relationship of my life and headed down that more conscious lovemaking path, which was beautiful for both of us. You know, the work we do on ourselves isn't just for us. And to be able to share that with someone else really took things to another level. I get many questions about sexual energy transmutation, and I understand that on the solo journey by yourself, it's often hard. You can look up things like microcosmic orbit and these breathing techniques, but there's more to it than that. Like, as I've said, how sexual energy, our life force, spills over to everything. Like, it changes the way you operate in the world. Therefore, the way you operate in the world is affecting our life force and that sexual experience. That some people are needing more to cut away and to give themselves a break. Other people are needing to allow themselves to be in that energy, to be able to sit confidently in their arousal, to be able to trust themselves if they fall for a woman and head in that direction. So there's a lot intertwined to it. But as men, we need a strong foundation before we ascend. Carl Jung, Robert Bly, Joseph Campbell, Manly P. Hall, they talk about the lower kingdom wound in men and how common it is. A book, He, is an amazing book to read about the lower kingdom wound of the Western man and how this moves to shame and often will move away from it. That rings true for me because that was me on my yoga journey when I was trying to ascend myself away from it. I'm happy I went through that journey. I learned a lot, and my energy channels in my body is a lot more open and receptive because of it. But it wasn't until I came back in, had some honest questions and answers to myself, and spent some quality time in that arena, feel through what you need to feel through, and start, I don't know, trusting yourself to feel powerful and grounded within that. Let that energy rise. This is where really the true path began for me. And watching that with men at different stages on their journey, watching it spill over to just their decision making or what they want or how they're communicating, that they're able to speak from a place of courage. For me, it was like sort of intertwined with the COVID thing and speaking my truth and not caring what people thought. And it was very empowering that it all sort of filtered into the same thing. As an old people pleaser, that was transformative in itself. There are flip sides to everything, and that sexual energy cultivation journey and hypersexuality and all these things. But as a man on the integration path, you can trust yourself to be able to maneuver whatever comes up. As men who begin it, there's often more anxiety or they feel angry. And these things can be moved through. They can be sat with, or they can be transmuted. There's no like, I need to practice so I don't feel this. Men are often wanting some like perfect remedy for what it is, but you are present moment awareness, and in each moment you have choice points and your ability to maneuver it. You're a human being, you're going to make an unbelievable amount of mistakes, but if you believe in God, very forgiving if you own up to them and try your best to make amends. If you're looking to step into that journey, hit me up. You can book a free call, as that is one of the areas that I'm finding most transformative, and yeah, a place for me that I've had a lot of my attention for a long time. If you're enjoying the videos, any help to the algo is greatly appreciated. Thank you.